Says Halacha Yomi, we're up to page 111. 32. One may build a sukkah on the back of a car or a truck or even a boat and recite the baracha while sitting and eating it. So you would think, but it moves. If the sukkah structure is strong and it doesn't move by itself, it's okay that it's on something and that something moves. Right? The car moves, but the sukkah doesn't move. It's only moving because the car is moving. When do we have a problem with the walls that move? It's not a real structure. Is when the wall moves because of the wind. But here it's a good wall, strong wall. It's just it's on a car that moves. That's mutar. Yeah, sometimes you have people who want to do zikuy arabim. They want to help other people do the mitzvah sukkah. So they have a pickup truck. They put a sukkah in the pickup truck, and they drive around. Come, let's do mitzvah sukkah. It's okay. It's kasher. It's allowed. 33. One may use a sukkah that is built on a vehicle while it's moving. Even while it's moving, it's a valid sukkah. On Shabbat, one may enter a sukkah that was built on a vehicle. However, one should not do so in a place where people do not know that it is prohibited to use a car on Shabbat. Where people do not know, right? However, furthermore, one may not do any action that will cause melacha, like opening a door and turn on a light. 35. One may fulfill to sit in the sukkah, even if it's not your sukkah. Let's say it's a borrowed sukkah or its own partnership. 36. One should not use a sukkah without an owner's permission. If one did so, nevertheless he fulfilled the obligation, but he should not do the lechatchila. People say, he wouldn't mind if I use his sukkah. He wouldn't mind if I just go sneak in there, eat something really fast. No, you're not supposed to do that, but if you did, he'd say dukhubah. 37. If one has permission to use a sukkah from the owner's wife, he may use it and even recite a baracha. 38. Even though one may not build a sukkah on land that you may not use, that you don't have permission to use, you're allowed to build your sukkah in a public street in front of your house, even though you don't own it. Okay? In Brooklyn, that happens a lot. They build sukkot on the sidewalks in front of their houses.
Public street.
Yeah, public street even. Some people they have the money meter. You know the money meter? They have it inside the sukkah because they built it so far into the street. Even the parking meter is in their sukkah. So that's even though from the letter of the law, from the law of the land, that's not your land. Your sukkah is there, and they didn't kick you out. You know, during the holiday Sukkot, the government is, they know it's temporary, so they let it go. It still counts, even though it's not your land, right? Okay. Right, they have these long sukkahs, right? 39. One may not use a stolen sukkah, such as the sukkah that was built by using stolen wood or schach. If you use such a sukkah, the baracha may not be said. It's a blessing in vain to use stolen wood and then build a sukkah from it. Hashem says, you're not making a blessing, you're cursing me. 40. One may not cut branches from public forests or public trees for one schach unless you get explicit permission from the municipality to cut branches for personal use. You see a guy with a saw and he's going to the park, cutting down branches. What are you doing? I'm getting schach. You say, hey, but this is the government, this is the cities. I pay taxes, they owe me a lot. No, you can't do that. It's not an excuse. You have to get explicit permission. You know what the Yetzer Hara does? Most of the time the Yetzer Hara, he just tries to convince us, saying, assuming. He teaches us to assume. Yeah, they probably will let, I pay a lot, I suffer a lot, they should let me, But you have to get explicit permission. 41. Unlike schach, sukkah walls may be made from any material. 42. Sunlight entering sukkah through breaks in the wall, or if the walls are transparent, it does not invalidate the sukkah. Now there's a new thing. Last year I saw it already. They're selling glass walls, plastic see-through walls of sukkah. People like it. It looks fancy, right? So that's a lot of sun inside. Or when I grew up in Florida, they didn't have walls for the sukkah because it's very hot. So they used to have these slats that had wood running this way, small pieces of wood running this way, and small pieces of wood going this way. So you would have these holes, a bunch of holes throughout the entire wall, so air could go through, right? So over there, it also lets in a lot of sun. That's okay. And it's not like the schach where it has to give shade. The wall, even if its sun goes through, it's a kasher. 43. One may use something attached to the ground as walls of a sukkah. It's like the wall of your house. And open the roof to allow for a kosher sukkah. This is because the sukkah is really kosher through the final placement of the schach. As long as the schach is from an unattached source, sukkah is kasher. The main part of the sukkah is the schach. So therefore, you can have the walls of your house, and you have a skylight, and you open the skylight and you put schach on the skylight, and the walls are the walls of your house, concrete walls, it's kasher. Because the main thing is the roof that it should be from something for the gross on the ground and detached from the ground. 44, preferably one should put the walls of the sukkah in the same order you put it the year before. However, it's not required to do so, right? In the Mishkan, when they built the panels for the Mishkan, the beams, they used to mark 2 letters on each one to show which one it goes. Wherever it was last time, it's where it's going to be again. Because we know the more you're closer to the Kodesh, the holier it is, right? So it's not fair. One time it was here, very close, and one time it should be far away. You go up in holy, it's not down. So therefore, maybe you could say the same thing by the Sukkah. Sukkah, each panel should go exactly the same place where it was last year. So preferably you should. If you're able to remember how, some people take a picture of their Sukkah, and they remember exactly which panel where it went. Preferably you should do that. But if not, it's still kasher. It's not required to do so. Preferable. 45. Most important halacha by the sukkah walls. A sukkah's walls must be strong enough to remain standing through the regular winds during the day without swaying. Without the wall can't move if it's made out of tarp or made out of canvas and klionka and all these things, right? Therefore, one who wants to make a sukkah with canvas, tarp, or plastic must tie and enforce the walls to hold them down so that they do not sway even slightly in the wind. It has to be strong. You made it tight at the bottom, tight at the top, so the wall is strong and doesn't go like this. Because if it goes like this, it flip-flops in the wind, it's pasul. So therefore, one who has a tarp sukkah must make the following precautions. When setting up the metal frame, he must make a wall of tightly tied straps or metal bars that are within 3 tvachim of the ground, within 3 tvachim of each other, which is going to be 24 centimeters, until a height of 10 tvachim, 80 centimeters. Okay? So what happens? The guy has a tarp sukkah, and it moves in the wind. It moves in the wind. The rabbi checked it. He says that it's pasul. It's not a good kosher sukkah. So what do? How do I fix it? You got to make a new wall. How? I bought this already. No. You make a halachic wall. How do you make a halachic wall? You got to take 3 straps or 3 metal bars and put them around the bottom of the sukkah, each one within 3 tvachim of each other. 24. You go from the bottom, 24 centimeters up. You do a little bit less. You do 1 strap of fabric or metal bar. Then you go another 23 centimeters within 24 centimeters, another tight strap or bar. You go another 24 centimeters, another tight strap or bar. Now you have, even though there's a lot of empty space, but since they're within 3 tvachim in each other, and the Torah says they're considered connected, so therefore you have a halachic wall, because it goes up to the 10 tvachim, already 80 centimeters, that's the bare minimum of a wall. So if you do this, you have a wall already. These straps that you made to make this halachic wall may not be swayed by a normal wind, even though it's okay for the straps to vibrate slightly by the wind. Furthermore, when placing the schach on top of the sukkah, one should preferably place wooden slats on top of the walls that the schach will rest on. Okay, very good. We'll stop over here. Amen.